See if you're about to lull in the company of misery. Find out what's going on as I hereby invite everyone to join me on my adventures through Marvel Snap. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. So we got a brand new card in the cache this week, and that is going to be Misery. Misery is the symbiote that bound itself to Liz Allan, who was another high school classmate of Peter Parker's. Initially, she considered Peter somewhat of a loser, even taking part in the general ridicule that Peter endured on a daily basis. Well, paradoxically, she developed a huge crush on Spider-Man and believed that the costume hero would call her. But later on in high school, she started to like the intelligence of Peter and started to actually develop a form of feelings for him. Misery eventually graduated and became the new head of Oscorp, and although she was still fiercely loyal and dedicated to her family, her morals had shifted drastically thanks to her high-powered station. Trying to make money for the company, she attempted to combine the Carnage symbiote and the Anti-Venom symbiote, but things did not go according to plan, and after she was mortally wounded in an attempt to stop a theft, she was forced to bind herself to one of the new hybrid life forms. Misery started growing accustomed to her new host, but the symbiote began going through her memories and found a particular issue on how she did not see anything that ever happened to her as a mistreatment, always feeling as though she caused it. They confronted her and told her that she should not be a victim and she needed to move on and make herself a better person. And eventually she came to terms with her past, stopped blaming herself, and started a new, better life with her symbiote. Misery is a belligerent woman trying to survive in a hostile world. She will fight anyone to the death. She is a cunning, brutal, and devilish woman who hides her malice behind a sophisticated, business-like facade. She is extremely paranoid and has a borderline personality disorder due to the voices in her head. She may seem psychotic to us, but it is important to remember that she sees herself and her actions as perfectly sane, reasonable, and even heroic. Misery possesses the combined powers of the Carnage and Anti-Venom symbiotes and uses them to enact her will. She can track down any other symbiote, stick to walls, has unlimited webbing, can blend into her surroundings and become undetectably camouflaged. She will get sliced up easier than other symbiotes due to the two symbiotes that are her body constantly seeking to destroy one another. But with her combined regeneration, she possesses an extreme healing factor and will always come back. Misery possesses the combined power of the Carnage and Anti-Venom. They are constantly seeking to destroy one another, and she uses them to enact her will on others. This is represented in Marvel Snap as she will come into play. Her symbiote will seek out any other character in her location with a power like hers, and she will use them to enact her will, and then will destroy them. So in Marvel Snap, what she does is she is a 4 cost, 7 power, with the description of on reveal. Repeat the on reveal abilities of your other cards, not her, in this location, the location that she's in, and then destroy them. Unfortunately, when I was going through this, looking through this, going through everything, I had to go through and give her a 1-star rating, and I don't like to give a lot of people 1-star ratings, but there's a reason behind this. So let's go over her and let's see why I gave her such a low rating. So let's talk about the elephant in the room that everybody wants to talk about. That's Electro. The whole idea is you get Electro out on 3, you play her down on 4, you get the double Electro, and you celebrate. The problem with that is First of all, because she's 4 and not 5, you're taking a weird 5 play, which you would normally get on Electro. Secondly, even decks that used to exist, that used to do this trick, like the ones that used to do Electro Blink, don't exist anymore. Yes, they didn't get the double power, but if you're really going to stack your deck with the double power, you're really trying to make a deck that relies too heavily on the Electro being in there. If you just play her down by herself, she's basically the equivalent of a Stegron. Her power and cost fall to the same as Stegron. She basically almost does the same trick as Stegron. Now, the problem I see with this is when you look at some of the on-reveal cards, they're not seeing too many that really help you out a ton. Your base 1-drop is basically the hood, where you're trying to destroy the hood, because the hood has an on-reveal effect, and get another demon off that. So you're getting rid of the -3 that would happen there, and you would get another demon, which is another good last drop card. The other one that you might want to think about is the Korg, where you're kind of trying to make like a Darkhawk deck, but with trying to make a Darkhawk deck, you're losing out on that ridiculously good 4-drop that you used to have with the rock slide to put the 2 extra rocks in there. So if you hit the Misery on the Korg, you're getting 1 extra rock, where if you just played a rock slide, you lose 1 power, but you get a second rock in their deck. For 2, one of the best options is sadly Cable. You want to play a Cable in your deck, try to play that Thief-like deck, where you play turn 1 Yondu, turn 2 Cable, turn 3 Baron, and then just eat it all and do that again? I mean, that's a possibility, but is that worth it? I mean, that's your combo. It's the Yondu, the Cable, the Baron, and then you eat it all, so then you do another Yondu, you do another Cable, you do another Baron, and they're basically out of cards. And you clear up room because the Misery eats the Baron, so you actually have plenty of room. So other than that, your choice is basically Ironheart, because here's the thing. You don't want a Black Panther as an on-reveal here. It's going to destroy the Black Panther. And one of the things that I think a lot of people don't realize is it doesn't gain the power. It's not like a Venom where it actually gains the power of what it destroys. And another thing that people are going to get mad at and probably lose a game or two with this card is when they play this into a Venom lane, when they play this into a Carnage lane, and they forget that Venom is an on-reveal, Carnage is an on-reveal. Or when they play this into a Nimrod lane, and they go, why isn't this destroying my Nimrod? It doesn't destroy everything in the lane. It only destroys the on-reveal cards. It won't destroy ongoing, it won't destroy activate, which you can use to your advantage, but you have to be careful about it. Now, everybody looking at this as an Odin, and while it's good to think of this as an Odin, it's not an Odin, because it's only an Odin for things that don't affect that lane. If it's an Odin that affects something in that lane, like a Shuri, like a Black Panther, like any of those cards, like a Werewolf by Night, by any of those stuff. Sorry, a Wolfsbane, not Werewolf by Night. It's going to destroy the card and you don't get it as an effect. Now, it is kind of funny to get stuff where you eat a Green Goblin or you eat a Hobgoblin. Those are always funny to do. But you could have done the same thing. So it's kind of almost a cheaper way of getting rid of Hobgoblins and Green Goblins, which do exist, and Widow's Bites and stuff like that. Now, if you are trying to make the Electro deck, and you are trying to get that to work, you can get the same power, same everything else, with the Lady Deathstrike. The Lady Deathstrike is going to work the same in this deck as having a Misery. Because if you play the Electro on 3, you're going to have 5. The Lady Deathstrike will destroy your Electro because your Electro is small enough. And not only will she do that, she'll destroy anything else in the lane that you have that's small stuff. So if you're trying to play the destroy version of this, it's decently good. Plus, you get the added bonus of the Lady Deathstrike might destroy some stuff in your opponent's lane. But when's the last time you've seen Electro combined with Lady Deathstrike? That just shows you the weirdness of trying to throw these two things together. So why would you play a Misery and force yourself to do the same trick that you weren't doing with Lady Deathstrike? Yes, you get 1 extra power, but again, you have to stack your deck so heavily. Now, there is one deck that I've been hearing about, reading about, looking at with the Misery, where basically on turn 3, you play down a Viper. On turn 4, you basically boost yourself. And on turn 5, because you have the 1 extra energy, you play the Destroyer right on the Viper, because the Destroyer won't destroy the Viper anymore. And then on turn 6, you play down the Misery, and you play down 2 1-drops, and you basically win the game. Because your opponent can't really contest the other 2 lanes, and the Destroyer goes over, destroys their stuff, and they have nothing else except the Destroyer in the middle lane. If somehow, some way, you can pull that off, more power to you. That combination is getting 6 cards in 6 turns. Good luck. If you get that off, you deserve to win the game. Plus, if you see somebody do that, if you really don't want to be losing to that, it's such a heads-up play. If you see the Viper come down and you see the Destroyer on top of it, just fill the line. They can't do anything about it. They don't have a plan B to that. There's no real plan B to that. So, all in all, I don't really know where this card is going to go. It doesn't seem quite like an Odin because of the fact that the only cards that can help you are cards that activate outside your lane, like your White Tigers, like your Ironhearts. And it doesn't really seem like a destroy card because it has such a limited range of what it can destroy. It's only destroying stuff on your lane. It's only destroying stuff with on reveal. And as a power spike, as just a regular power spike, you're as good as playing just a Stegron. And when's the last time you played Stegron just as a power spike? Other than that, the cards that we have this week. Oh, wrong one. We've got Namora. Namora is an interesting card, but a gimmick card to a certain way. If you see somebody play down the cards with Namora and play Namora on 5, just walk away. Walk away, they'll get 1, maybe 2 cubes if you didn't snap. So, the gimmick that you get with Namora is so easy to see that it's hard to play her. You're never getting surprised by the Namora. The other card in here is the War Machine. War Machine, again, is a nice gimmick deck. You play down the Storm, you play down the Legion, you play down the War Machine, you lock out the lane, they can't do anything, you win the game. You play out the Infinite, yes. But again, same thing with the Namora. Your opponent sees this coming a mile away, and you might get 1, 2 cubes on that at most, and it's hard to get that combination to lock up that way. So, for this week, I would say that every single card in here is basically a card for a quote-unquote gimmick deck, for a Voltron deck, for a deck that basically exists and has 1 really good win combination, but if you get that win combination, your opponent sees it coming ahead. Like, even if you get the Electro, if you do Electro and right after that you play the Misery, your opponent might just retreat and move on. Or I should say, if you play the Misery right after the Electro, your opponent might move away, walk away. So, all three of these cards are these cards that can win you games, but I don't know where they're going where your opponent doesn't see it coming to my way. Now, if you get somebody who still snaps on that, if you want to farm the bots, go for it. I'm not sure if the bots can figure out this math, but I'm not sure a real player will. Let's see what we get in the box today, because I still roll in the box. I like content. What does the box give us? We get Hitmonkey. That's the one that I was not looking forward to. So this Friday, if you want me to, you'll actually see me play Hitmonkey. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, remember, play for fun.